Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel, Life, Home, and My Linux Journeys. And in this video, we're going to go over some Alpine Linux. We'll go ahead and bring up the web pages. There's a lot to cover here, and I'm not sure I'm going to get it all done on one video, but I'm certainly going to try. So if you go to DistroWatch and look them up, you'll see their country of origin is Norway, but it's based independent. It's not based on anything else. Their desktop, GNOME, KDE Plasma, LXQT, Mate, and Xfce. And I think there was another one in when you set it up for a window manager. Interestingly enough, it never once mentions here desktop. It's security minded, features, it offers desktops, but it does not say desktops. It's an amazing desktop, as we'll see here. What I found interesting, I did that without, click on reviews, there's 44 reviews. Average rating is 8.8. If you read through here, amazing and easy installation. I have now used Alpine on bare metal, 10 out of 10. Extremely lightweight and fast. I'm a Linux user since '99. He started with Slackware, and it was downloaded to 36 floppy disks. I'd worked with Slackware, etc. He started using Alpine Linux 3.18. So that's about when I started, or the version, I should say. So anyway, let's go back here. Here is their homepage. You can read a lot of the news, the latest development, etc. If you click on downloads, though, this is where you're going to get it. And I selected the extended version here because it's got most common used packages already included. And as you'll see, you have to do everything. It has less involved, it has less installed software than a base package of Arch Linux does, I believe. So you end up having, if you're doing it, you can do it very granular and install only exactly what you want. But anyway, there's the downloads. Alpine Linux overview. It uses Muscle instead of libc, and it also uses BusyBox underneath as a core utility. I'll make sure all these links get in the description below. As you can see, I've already got them here, and I will put them in the description. General overview, fastest boot times, heavily used in containers, wide use in embedded services, base system for many enterprise routers. Setup, here is, if we go all the way back up to the top here, you'll see this is the Alpine setup scripts. Now this is a really cool feature. It's amazing how many scripts they got that you can actually run through. Set up a host name, change your host name, in other words, set up interfaces. I mean, just a bunch. Time zone, set up a user, SSHD, NTP, network time protocol, etc. I said in my last video when I was installing on a virtual box, I wasn't real sure this was necessary, but I found it right here, and it does make things easier. Alright, that's Network Manager here. Now, if you like me, you'll notice down here I do have a network-manager-applet, and if you want one of those, then you'll have to do this right here. And exactly, I've got it in my notes, and so I'll just copy and paste it probably over into my notes. It looks complicated. It is not. You basically open up your networkmanager.conf file and just copy and paste this entire set in there. Now this is for Wi-Fi as well. Network Manager, unlike other distributions, handles Wi-Fi as well as network. You'll have to stop some services, add some services, etc. Here's a package index, and I just want to show that just because it says it's here, if I go search, it does list it, and it's in the community repo, so you would think that you could get it, but on 3.2 the one I'm running, 3.21, it's not going to be available. If I click on that, open this up, and we do a quick search, it'll list it, or it may list it, I don't remember. But no, don't even list it for this version. But as I found out very recent, once you upload or upgrade to 3.22, it will be available, or is available. Here's a link on your fonts to help you if you're needing some ideas on fonts, how to add them, and tells you what kind of stuff they do or provide for language and such. Some tutorials on how to. I'm still impressed with how much information is available right now. I mean, you can see all these links I got opened up, and trust me, there's more. And you'll see more listed right here. So anyway, then we got installation. Here's where it says run setup Alpine. One of these was where it said sign in as use the root account. Which one was that? Alpine Linux overview, download, beginning, setup host name. Well, it's in here. I lost where it was at. So for now, I am running 3.20, and I'm going to upgrade. My first step is to upgrade here to 3.21. And once that's done, then I'm going to actually upgrade upgrading to Edge. I don't know if you notice that. Let's see, packages. Here it lists what repo it's in. Edge, all the way. But if you're not listed in, if you don't have that, then you can't get some certain software. So I'm going to actually upgrade to Edge repository as well. May not do it today, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to update to 3.22, and then I'm going to upgrade the Edge to the Edge repository. And I found out you don't need this testing kind of worried me a little bit, but it's nothing to worry about. I did a search on it. It says you don't need testing repository. I did several information. This was right all along. Alright, so let me just close this, minimize this. Actually, I can just close it out, I guess. I don't need them running, taking up resources. Let's see, let me open up my system monitor. So even with Voco screen running, me just closing those web pages out, 900, less than a gig of RAM being used. Processor, it's an older machine. It's using about a fourth of it. Okay. So here's my notes. First release was in 2005, developed by Natanael Copa. He said the original APK or Alpine Linux was possibly a Linux-powered inject-I here network engine. That would be Alpine. I've been kind of teasing myself here and saying APK stand for a Pac-Man killer because I don't know. So here's all those links and then some, and I'll make sure these get in the description below. Now the first time I actually installed Alpine Linux, this was the process that I used. First thing I run after the base was installed, I run setup xorg base. At that point, I rebooted, signed back in. Then I added these Xfce4, Xfce4 terminal, screensaver, dbus, light DM, GTK greeter, etc. here. And then I enabled those services, and then I rebooted, and it worked. So trust me, you don't really get a lot on the base install. And I do have that still set up in boxes. We're opening it up and see just how few packages are available. But there is no Xfce goodies package, so if you was wanting that, you're not going to get it. However, you can install a lot of this stuff separately if you know the name of it, and it don't take much to find a name. This right here, XKB plugin, enables convenient keyboard layout management within the Xfce panel, so that may be something you want. So here's a list of all the packages that I have installed, and there's actually a few that I have installed that's not on here, as I found out this morning. I'll make sure these get into the description as well, so you can go ahead and just copy and paste, and if you're running an Xfce desktop, that is. Alright. It did have a couple archivers, or a archiver, X-archiver installed by default, along with the documentation, and we'll get to that. Now, if you go to set up Alpine at flatpak.org, it'll give you these instructions right here. Now, I did not. It recommended that you install this if you was going to be using like gnome-software-plugin-flatpak. I'm not going to use it, haven't used it, so I did not install that. Flatpak was installed up here. Once that was done, then I added that Flatpak, the repo, to it, and then rebooted, and then I installed Kdenlive. Works just fine. To start a service, now I got a link here that tell you a lot about RC init system. RC service usually indicates stop, start, or status, or restart. And in this case, you're going to want to run Fuse. That has to do with mounting different drives. RC update, I added that to the default run level. So, as well as other stuff, but you'll see here. Now, this is how I ended up installing it. Once I had done some research, I ended up installing it using this method. It worked beautiful. First thing after the base, I run the setup xorg base again. After that was through, I ran an update and upgrade. Then I run setup -desktop. I selected the Xfce desktop, and before I rebooted, I did install nano and sudo, because nano or sudo, none of those are installed by default, as well as do-as is not started by default. When I did it this way, when it came time to it, it had already added LikeDM to the run level, default run level. I added dbus and elognd, and this was all installed by default stuff, but I had to install here manually before. So there was a lot more than that installed by default anyway. For your audio, you're going to want audio, I'm sure. That's Payvoo control. The only interesting thing that I found, Payvoo control would not open until I installed this package right here, mesa-gles. Now, what that's got to do with audio, I had no idea. It says it's a part of the Mesa, which is like Xorg stuff, I think, that implements the OpenGL ES API, allowing applications to leverage its 3D graphics capabilities on platforms that might not have native OpenGL, etc. But Payvoo control on this machine would not open, even through a command line it wouldn't open, until I installed this package. When I installed this package, it opened right up. Just like that. So, I don't know what it had to do with it. I just know, that's what I'm saying. You need to install everything you want. There's nothing here that's presuming that you want X and they're giving it to you. Alright, so I did start it also. It said it was already running, but I added it to the default level. So we got RC service and RC update. Mesa-gles overview on elognd if you want that. Get a definition of it. Now, one thing right off the bat is Alpine Linux does not use a bash shell, ZSH shell, anything. It uses SH. That is the shell. And that might take you a minute to wrap your head around that, but it seems to work and has a lot of functionality. Alright, so I'm going to bring this back and just leave this in the middle of the screen, and the reason is, this is what YouTube calls an angled bracket, and it's not allowed. I can't put an angled bracket in my video description. So I'm just going to come back to this and leave it in the middle of the screen. You can write it down, but it's a way of list all the packages that are on your system, and it gives you one with version numbers, and this one gives you everything about it. Alright. I do have my TD script installed. Tell me when I installed it. It was Monday, June the 2nd on this system here. It's got 4 gigs of swap, 16 gigs of RAM. I did turn the swappiness to 10. It's output of 1 here, so it's a hard drive. And this is the disk here. We go LSVLK, which is not installed by default. You'll have to install one of these programs up here. We'll do that for you. Allow you to run LSVLK. Back here. Alright, see we got a boot EFI, we got a swap and a root. So cool. Alright, so leave that there. Leave this right here in the middle of the screen, but meanwhile I'm going to go right here. And for your docs, your man pages, you're not going to get any man pages on anything that's installed on your system by default. Anything that you do install, you will have to install the man page separately, and it would be called a doc. For instance, ffmpeg-doc. To eliminate that, there's a command and software that you can install that it ensures that documentation sub-packages are installed and removed automatically on any packages that you may add or remove in the future. And here it is, mandoc, sudo add apk add mandoc. It installed 398 packages, but that's because it's what I got on the system. Now, if I just say I delete a bunch of software and rerun this, it'll be less. Or actually, so when I installed the docs, it added 398 pages. Mandoc. That should be, there's an error. Mandocs. There we go. Alright, now Wi-Fi. If you want that applet right here, now this is on this web page. I'll make sure the link gets in the description, but it's right here as well. So I had to add Network Manager, which is already in that list. Added myself to plug devices. Here it says Network Manager supports both wireless and WPA supplicant. So you install the -Wi-Fi. Then you go into this file, Network Manager, networkmanager.com, and all I did was copy and paste from that website that you'll have the link to into that file. Closed it out and saved it. Then it'll tell you to need to stop conflicting services. Networking, we stopped. WPA supplicant, we stopped. Now we restarted Network Manager. Now we're going to stop those permanently. We got add Network Manager to the default run level. We deleted network at boot, and we deleted WPA supplicant at boot. I rebooted, came right up, just like it's supposed to. Now you may not want that, so that might be a whole bunch of hooey for you. I don't know, but I think most desktops that I see people doing reviews from usually have a internet indicator of some sort. Where is will not come in by default. Back at that list there, you'll find util-linux, and when you install that, then you'll have the where is command. Let's see, and there it is. So now occasionally you might get an error in your terminal. It's happened a couple times this last few days. It would say complete but with errors, and a very simple command fixes those. Sudo apk fix. Nice. Okay, so I guess I can close that out and put you back here to list all the packages. I guess we'll leave that up the screen. It's not going to come with any wallpapers either. You'll have to either import your own or find some. Back at my menu here, if we go to accessories, we got disk, impression, that's a flat pack, mouse pad, that's a flat pack for burning ISOs to USBs. Mouse pad, I had to add. I had to add that. Screenshot, I had to add. Thunar, X-archiver, and xf-burn. I added those. Boxes, education. I still don't have a PDF viewer. A few games, graphics. This is all the same I showed you before. Not much has changed here. In fact, I don't think anything has changed. Gparted is available. Fedora Media Writer, that's a flat pack. It does have its own in-house USB image writer. It's called ISO Image Writer. Boxes and Vert Manager. And Boxes works just fine. In fact, that's what I did my installation video on. It's right there. But I won't open that up to show you just how little there is there and how big of a change this made. So I've left that up there through this whole video. I guess that's going to do it. I guess I'll talk to you on another video. Peace out. Alpine Linux. Give it a shot. There'll be more, I'm sure. Bye.